Hello and welcome to the North American Guitar Showroom in London. I'm Ben and this is a special talking guitar session. We've got the one and only Tom Sands in the house and we've got the masterful Mr. Stuart Ryan. So I'm going to leave it to Tom and Stuart to chat about his guitars.
It's been a pleasure to meet you today.
You too.
And I've thoroughly enjoyed playing your guitars as well. I'm very new to Instagram.
Okay.
I joined Instagram about 4 weeks ago, I think. So I'm still kind of figuring out how things are and how things work. But when you added me as a friend, I was like, oh wow, this is great. You know, it's such, as you were saying earlier, it's such a really nice way to kind of get the community out there and meet everybody.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I just love looking at your stuff as well.
Thanks so much.
It's for me, things like Instagram are the danger zone because the feed is
absolutely
really nice things. It's like, wow, okay. But no, I loved playing these guitars earlier. They're absolutely fantastic, and they really passed the treble test.
Well, so that was the thing I was kind of most. I don't know if concerned is the word, but I saw the interview that you did with Ben when you were doing Stephen Strahm's guitars, and you know, it's like, it's not about the bass. What I'm interested in is that 12th fret treble, and I'm like, what's my 12th fret treble?
I'm going to go down in infamy for this, and guitar luthiers across the world are going to hate me now. It's just, I mean, for me, you know, it's nothing really. It's just that 12th fret thing is. I always think, you know, the bass is there in great instruments, but that 12th fret first string, just something over the years playing so many different guitars, I'd always play it and think, is it a little bit snappy? Is it a little bit bright? And if it's fat and rounded, then it kind of used to make me think, well, I can go up there with confidence. But that's partly because I like going up to those higher registers, and you know, you kind of want to go from that low end. And when you're thinking melodically all the way up here,
sure,
you don't want the guitar to give up on you, and these really don't. They just kind of keep on singing all the way to the top. So, yeah, amazing instruments.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
You know, obviously, you know, I apprenticed with Irvin, and you know, I'll never forget the first time I played one of Irvin's modified dreadnoughts, and you know, picked it down off the wall and very gingerly, and kind of struck that low E string, and you know, my insides nearly exploded. You know, it's just so much sound there. You know, I kind of got kind of tunnel vision a bit with that. To begin with, and I was like, oh, it's just all about the bass, you know, got to get that big open bass sound, and it wasn't till a little bit later that I actually realised that the foundation of a great guitar is those trebles, and you know, it's I always picture, you know, the tonal spectrum of bass and treble, and you have, you know, an envelope, and for me, you know, it's fairly straightforward to shift that envelope to either the bass or the treble side, but expanding it is the hard part. So that's increasingly what I'm trying to do.
You know what?
You know, in terms of whether or not I'm thinking about a guitar's EQ, you know, I'm always trying to think about the response, the overall response of the instrument. You know, creating a soundbox that is pleasing as a soundbox. You know, that it's essentially a drum. You know, I want a soundbox to sound great when you tap it. I want a great kind of drum. So you know, I obviously try to strive for a great balance. You know, I want those big, open, powerful bass notes, but they've got to be counterpointed with those sparkly.
So it's like balance all the way across.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started playing Old Martins, one of the things, at first, I mean years ago when I was in my 20s, the first few times I picked them up, I used to think, they don't sound, things like old double O's and triple O's don't sound huge, you know, but then you realise that it's all perfectly balanced, everything is kind of self-contained, and you come to appreciate that for what it does as well. But it's lovely playing an instrument like these, which has just got a massive full frequency range and that great big sound. But it's never overbearing. You know, I think with a lot of modern guitars it can become too much, but these are just perfection.
Should we have a look at one in a little more
detail?
Let's have a look,
yeah. Let's do it.
So this is my Model L. L stands for large. Confusing naming convention. We have a Cedar top, some really, really nice Madagascar rosewood for the back and sides, Wengate neck, which is a new one for me, inspired by Stefan Sobel. It's very, very cool. Rocklight fingerboard.
You've got Rocklight. Oh, wow, okay.
And a Rocklight bridge as well.
We should probably explain what Rocklight is.
So Rocklight is a man-made wood-based composite. Finding great ebony these days is increasingly difficult, and taking into account sustainability and kind of ethical concerns, it's a big thing for me. So
I think the important thing to say about Rocklight is you don't notice it. So you don't want to sit there thinking I'm suddenly playing a composite fingerboard. You don't notice it at all. It just feels like ebony. If you hadn't told me, I'd have just simply thought it was an ebony fingerboard.
Absolutely, it's a really great product. It's fantastic to work with. I'm actually really allergic to ebony.
Oh right.
Yeah. So that's partly the reason I'm starting to switch to this. Takes a great finish, holds the frets beautifully.
Feels great as well.
So
the bridge as well as Rocklight.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd never know it wasn't ebony.
Yeah. So it works slightly differently, and I'm still kind of experimenting with how to get the most out of it. But tonally, I don't notice a different. The mass is comparable. So,
and the saddle's interesting as well. So there's some stuff going on there that's a bit different.
No, bone saddle, slightly wider than you'd normally see. Each string is individually intonated. Having that wider saddle just gives me a little bit of extra room to get
that intonation thing as well. For me, is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
But particularly again coming up to those higher frets. So that idea of intonating every string is really, really cool to hear. Because I have owned several instruments over the years where they're not there on the top.
Yeah.
And you go past a certain point and it's not in tune within itself. So.
No, the wider saddle, it really does help with that. This guitar also has a Alaskan-inspired arm bevel and a Manza wedge as well, just a subtle body wedge, which just really helps with the comfort. Yeah. On a bigger guitar like this with the wide lower bow, it just kind of nice feel to it. So anyway.
So that's fantastic. I really love this one. The wedge is great as well. As you say, it means if you're not used to playing larger guitars, you can just play them like they're a smaller body, and you don't there's nothing impinging what you do. Yeah, we should do the yeah, it's all there. That's fantastic. No, it's really, really beautiful. Really great work.
Thank you so much.
So should we have a look at? So is this L?
Other
L. So
this is model L.
That's L.
This is actually a discontinued. This was the last guitar I made while I was apprenticing with Irvin. This is a 00 based on Irvin's 00 model. Mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard and bridge, reclaimed Sitka spruce. Actually came from railway sleepers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Cool.
From Canada. T'Zalam for the back and sides, which is a bit of an oddball. Throws people when you first see it. Kind of a coa-y, mahogany type vibe to it. And then obviously with the copper, brushed copper detailing in the headstock and the rosette as well.
It's really cool indeed. So what's it like in terms of getting woods these days with everything changing so quickly? I mean, you sort of, keeping things sustainable is so important. So how are luthiers coming to terms with that? So if you have a client that says, I'm a rosewood person,
Sure.
what's the approach you take there?
I think it's a difficult one. It really is. I think that the recent CITES measures kind of threw a lot of people a curveball.
Yeah.
I think the simple fact is that there are a lot of great alternatives out there, and I think it's down to a luthier's kind of skill and judgment to experiment with these alternatives, and to I think a lot of it is about education.
Yeah.
And trying to communicate to a customer, the benefits of using different woods.
I think you're right, because it's too easy to get locked in the fact that the classic woods, the rosewoods, the mahoganies, well, they're just part of the whole, aren't they? There's many different options, and it's a very exciting time as well to try these new woods.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The last guitar I was playing was all maple, spruce and all maple. It sounded great.
Yeah.
It was never something I'd have considered having built, but it sounded absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's quite exciting, isn't it? To sort of get
Absolutely.
new woods and see what they do and how they sound.
It's a great opportunity. I use increasingly I'm using a lot of salvage materials, a lot of antique materials, and it's great to kind of incorporate that story into the guitar as a whole. So.
Do you think we'll get to a point where you get the mahogany, Indian rosewood kind of thing going with the new woods, or is it always now going to be a case of that all these different tone woods you can choose from, and people are going to be far more specific about what they want? Because whenever I think of acoustics, I take a really sort of Luddite view to it. I think classic Gibson's mahogany, some classic Martins rosewood, D28's rosewood, but now we've got everything else. So is it, do you think people are going to find their favourites, or are we going to be in this great world, well, I'm going to put this with this and see what happens?
I mean, I think a lot of those, we talk about the classic combinations, I think a lot of those are kind of dictated by, the bigger manufacturers, the kind of history that just is behind them. So I think it's just about creating a new narrative, and I think, like you say, it's an exciting time.
Very exciting. And these are great. This one's already accounted for, isn't it? So,
it is.
So very lucky person. That's this one. I love the fact you can get so much sound out of a small guitar as well.
That's the joy of the small guitars. It's a really exciting challenge. It's like, how much can I get out of this tiny box?
Yeah, it's great.
So my Model S is actually even smaller than this.
It's going to be smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller.
So
Still a reasonably deep body.
Yeah.
Shorter scale length, so 24.75.
12 frets of the body as well.
12 frets of the body, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable how much you can get out of a small body, and you get that sweetness with the 12th fret.
Yeah, you really do.
Neck joint.
Really do. It's always been my preference, the smaller size. They just feel,
It's just the comfort, yeah.
They just sit perfectly. I think at some point everybody should try owning a small body guitar.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
And they do make you play differently. They really do. Yeah, fantastic. Great neck as well. Amazing. And this one isn't Rocklight, or is that Rocklight as well?
No, this one is Ebony.
That is Ebony.
That's Ebony, yeah.
You really wouldn't know the difference, would you?
It's crazy. They've done a great job with that product.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I will put this back extremely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Cheers.
And I'll look forward to seeing you again. Thanks very much, guys. We'll be back here again at some point, I'm sure. Take care.
For more information on the finest hand-built luthier instruments, then please do subscribe to this channel. And for more information on Tom Sands guitars, get in touch.